Welcome to Ramadan Ready, where we answer common questions and practical questions about the month of Ramadan. Now, Dr. Shabir, a common question that people have is, what if I break my fast in Ramadan? So this could be either intentionally, right, or unintentionally, right? So I guess we have different answers for the different, purposes.
Yeah, let me start with the unintentionally first. So, there's a hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him, in which he says that Allah has forgiven this ummah, meaning the followers of the Prophet, peace be upon him, for that which is done out of forgetfulness, by mistake, or under duress. So forgetfulness and mistake, they come close together. Let's say forgetfulness, especially within the first few days of Ramadan, where you might still feel like you're in the eating mood. You forget that you're fasting, and out of habit, you happen to eat or drink something. Well, that doesn't actually break your fast. And we know this from a hadith that says that is Allah who has given the person the food or drink. So, you can enjoy that. Well, of course, once you know, you have to stop, because if somebody might feel, okay, all right, based on that hadith, my fast isn't broken, let me enjoy. But only up to the point. Once you realize, you have to stop. Otherwise, then you would be deliberately eating or drinking while you should be fasting, and knowingly so that will actually break the fast.
Mm-hmm.
So then what about by mistake? Sometimes people make a mistake in that they think, okay, it's already sunset and it's time to break the fast. So they deliberately eat or drink something, and then they realize, OMG, it's not sunset yet. So what happens for this few minutes difference? Due to this few minutes of difference, some Muslim scholars might say, you know what, your fast is broken because you deliberately ate or drank when it was not really the time.
Mm-hmm.
But Safiyyah, I don't think we need to be so strict about it, because the Quran says, "Ma anzalna alayka al-Qur'ana litashqa." We have not revealed the Quran to you so that you should be miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly the person is going to feel awful, after fasting the whole day.
Especially if it was by mistake,
Yes, it's a simple mistake that anyone could make. So we shouldn't quarrel about these few minutes, especially since at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, people did not have clocks. They went by simple observations, and it's easy to make a mistake in observing whether it is really sunset or not. So all of this is forgiven in my humble judgment, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Now, what if it's done deliberately? There are basically three things that break the fast: eating, drinking, or having intimate relations. Now, if one breaks the fast by having intimate relations during the day, then this calls for a compensation. It's called kafara in Arabic. And the kafara is mentioned, it's actually inferred from a narrative. A narrative says that a man, it's almost a funny story. A man came to the Prophet, peace be upon him, Safiyyah, and he said, I broke my fast. What should I do? And how did he break his fast? He, had relations with his wife. So the Prophet asked him, are you able to free a slave? He said, no. The Prophet asked him, are you able to fast 60 days in a row? And he said, no. And the Prophet asked him, can you feed 60 persons? And he said, no, because he doesn't have the wealth to do that. And from this, people infer that, okay, so this is the sequence. This is the actual penalty. Though the Prophet, peace be upon him, is not on record having said that this is the actual penalty. He's having a conversation with the man.
And the end is really funny too, because, the Prophet tells him, can you feed these people? And he says, well, my family needs it more than that, more than other people. And the Prophet's like, he just laughed. I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as you will recall more precisely, it's when the Prophet, peace be upon him, said to the man, okay, wait. And then eventually somebody brought some dates to the Prophet as a gift. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, then gave it to the man and said, okay, go feed the people with this.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, but Messenger of God, I don't know of anyone whom would be poorer than me and my family. So the Prophet laughed and said, "Okay, take it and feed your family with it." So you see the leniency of the Prophet, peace be upon him, with this man, and from this people derive that strict ruling that if you happen to break your fast, then there's this penalty of 60 days in a row. But let's say that's the penalty for that. One can see a difference between breaking the fast by that means and breaking the fast by eating or drinking. In terms of eating or drinking, one might say, well, somebody might be driven by acute hunger or thirst to break the fast by that means. But certainly one has no need to break the fast by this other means, because certainly you can wait till nightfall. You're not going to die during the day for lack of intimacy. Yet you will find that there are some scholars who will say that even eating or drinking by breaking the fast in that way, you deserve the same penalty of fasting 60 days in a row. But most scholars that I know will say that by eating or drinking, breaking your fast by that means, it's not going to require that penalty. You just make up the day by fasting that day all over again after Ramadan is over.
All right. Thank you for that, Dr. Shabir.
You're welcome.
So I guess the moral of the story is try not to break your fast.
Exactly.
And we'll leave it at that. Join us for another episode of Ramadan Ready tomorrow.
Support us today and help us share the message of Islam with people across the globe. Thank you, and may God bless you and your loved ones with the very best always.